Commander Maya Rodriguez stood at the helm of the ESS Prometheus, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling nebula ahead. The research vessel's quantum engines hummed softly as they pushed deeper into the forbidden reaches of the Andromeda Arm. After 3 centuries of isolation, humanity was about to break the greatest taboo of galactic society. "Status report," Maya called out, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through the bridge. Dr. James Wilson looked up from his console, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays. "The quantum signature is getting stronger, Commander. Whatever's out there, it's unlike anything in our database." Lieutenant Kai Zhang, the ship's tactical officer, suddenly straightened in his chair. "Multiple contacts. Hegemony vessels at bearing 276. They're on an intercept course." Maya's jaw tightened. The Galactic Hegemony, self-appointed peacekeepers of the cosmos, had maintained humanity's quarantine for 300 years. But they hadn't counted on human ingenuity and determination. The Prometheus's experimental stealth systems should have made them invisible to conventional scanners. "They were waiting for us," Dr. Wilson muttered, his fingers dancing across his console. "The energy signature we detected. They're guarding it." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the crystalline features of a hegemony commander. The alien's multifaceted eyes gleamed with cold authority. "Human vessel, you have violated Treaty Article 47. Power down immediately and prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Maya stepped forward, her reflection ghosting across the screen. "This is Commander Rodriguez of the Earth science vessel Prometheus. We're tracking an anomaly that could threaten both human and hegemony space. We request temporary clearance to investigate." The alien's crystalline surface rippled with what might have been amusement. "Your kind lost the right to make such requests long ago. You have 5 minutes to comply." But Dr. Wilson's urgent voice cut through the tension. "Commander, the signal, it's changing." All eyes turned to the science station. The mysterious energy signature had begun pulsing with increasing intensity, its pattern shifting from random noise to something distinctly artificial. And it was responding to their presence. "It's some kind of beacon," Wilson breathed. "And it's recognizing human biosignatures." Maya had seconds to make a decision that could change the course of human history. "Helm, plot a course directly to the signal source. Full power to engines and defensive systems." She turned back to the screen, meeting the hegemony commander's gaze. "We're not leaving. That beacon is somehow tied to humanity, and we have a right to know why it's here in restricted space. You can either help us investigate, or you can fire on a science vessel seeking knowledge. Choose carefully." The hegemony commander's surface rippled with color. "You are either very brave or very foolish, Commander Rodriguez." "Maybe both," Maya replied with a grim smile. "But I think we're about to learn why your hegemony was so determined to keep humans away from this sector." The screen went dark. Maya turned to her crew, seeing the same mixture of fear and determination in their eyes that she felt in her heart. "All hands, prepare for emergency maneuvers. Whatever's out there, whatever secrets the hegemony's been keeping, we're about to find out." The Prometheus surged forward, its engines pushing against the fabric of space-time. Behind them, the hegemony ships began to move, their weapons charging. Ahead lay either answers or oblivion, and Maya had committed them all to discovering which. The ancient beacon pulsed stronger with each passing second, its message meant for human eyes alone, waiting to reveal secrets that would shake the foundations of galactic society. The next few minutes would change everything, assuming they lived long enough to learn why. The first shots from the hegemony vessels carved brilliant paths through space, their energy weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. The Prometheus shuddered under the assault, but its advanced shields held. Another testament to humanity's drive to innovate even under isolation. "Evasive pattern Delta," Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the growing tension. "Dr. Wilson, how much longer to the beacon's location?" James's fingers flew across his console, compensating for their evasive maneuvers. 2 minutes at current speed. But Commander, these energy readings are unprecedented. The beacon isn't just transmitting anymore, it's powering up. Through the main viewport, a strange distortion became visible, a shimmer in space that seemed to bend light around itself. As they drew closer, the distortion resolved into a massive structure, its surface covered in geometric patterns that pulsed with internal light. "It's some kind of station," Lieutenant Zhang reported, his eyes wide. "Ancient, but the technology, it's beyond anything we've seen, beyond anything the hegemony has." The hegemony commander's face appeared on their screen again, crystalline features shifting with barely contained agitation. "Human vessel, stand down immediately. You don't understand what you're approaching." Maya leaned forward in her chair. "Then explain it to us, Commander. What are you protecting here? What are you afraid we'll find?" Before the alien could respond, James's voice cut through the tension. "Commander, the beacon, it's transmitting directly to our neural interfaces, some kind of data package." Maya made her decision instantly. "Route it through my station. Full quarantine protocols." "Maya, no," James protested, but she had already activated her neural link. The bridge of the Prometheus seemed to fade away, replaced by a cascade of images and information that threatened to overwhelm her consciousness. She saw Earth, but not as it existed now. She saw massive ships, human ships, traversing the galaxy long before the hegemony had formed. She saw wars and peace, triumph and devastation, and something else, something that made her blood run cold. When Maya's vision cleared, she found James kneeling beside her chair, concern evident on his face. "I'm all right," she managed, though her voice felt rough. "But now I understand. Lieutenant Zhang, full stop. Open a channel to all hegemony vessels." The crystalline commander appeared again. But this time, Maya noticed something different in its stance, resignation, perhaps, or relief. "You weren't trying to contain humanity," Maya said, her voice growing stronger. "You were protecting us, hiding us. This station, it's human technology, isn't it? From before the hegemony, before the quarantine." The alien seemed to age before their eyes. "Your species' history is complicated, Commander Rodriguez. Your ancestors faced a choice: remain free but risk extinction, or accept protection through isolation. They chose to forget, to let us guard their secrets until humanity was ready." "Ready for what?" James asked, scientific curiosity overcoming his concern. "For them," the commander replied simply. "The ones who sleep between galaxies. The ones your ancestors fought to a standstill but couldn't defeat. The ones who will return." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Maya closed her eyes, the beacon's downloaded knowledge still sorting itself through her mind. "The quarantine wasn't a punishment," she said slowly. "It was a shield. The hegemony didn't fear humanity. They feared what would follow us back into the galaxy. And now you understand why this sector remains restricted," the hegemony commander said. "Why some secrets must remain buried." But Maya was already shaking her head. "No, humanity didn't choose this. A handful of our ancestors chose it for us. And from what I just learned, we're running out of time to prepare." She straightened in her chair, decision made. "Dr. Wilson, download everything you can from that station. Commander, I suggest you contact your superiors. The game of pretend is over." The alien's crystalline surface rippled with concern. "Commander Rodriguez, if you proceed with this course of action, there will be consequences. The hegemony." "The hegemony has been lying to everyone for centuries," Maya interrupted. "About humanity, about our history, about the real threats out there in the dark. Well, now we know the truth, and I don't intend to let humanity face what's coming unprepared." The ancient station pulsed one final time before going dark, its message delivered, its purpose fulfilled. Humanity had found its way back to the stars, back to its forgotten legacy. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, something stirred, sensing the awakening of an old enemy. The game of hide and seek was over. The real war was about to begin. The Grand Council chamber on Nexus Station hadn't seen such chaos in decades. Representatives from 100 species filled the vast circular space, their voices rising in a storm of argument and accusation. Above their heads, holographic data from the Prometheus's discovery played on endless loop, impossible to ignore. Maya stood before them all, still in her commander's uniform, with Dr. Wilson and Lieutenant Zhang at her side. In the diplomatic box nearby, Earth's ambassador Marcus Lee watched the proceedings with careful attention, his weathered face betraying nothing. The humans violated restricted space, thundered Representative Kral of the Myriad Worlds, his massive form looming over his sector's podium. The punishment is clear, immediate destruction. And yet here they stand, countered Representative Tella of the Free Systems, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with emphasis, with proof that all of us, have been deceived for generations. High Counselor Vex of the Hegemony raised all four arms, demanding silence. We will have order, or this chamber will be cleared. The situation is complex. The situation is simple, Kral interrupted. The founders established the quarantine for a reason. They saw humanity's potential for violence, for chaos. The founders lied. The new voice cut through the chamber like a plasma torch. All eyes turned to Elder Nim of the First Ones, one of the oldest living members of the Council. The ancient being's cybernetic systems hummed as they floated to the center of the chamber. I was there, Elder Nim continued, their synthesized voice carrying to every corner of the vast space. I was there when the choice was made. When we decided that the galaxy would be safer if humanity forgot its true history, its true power. James Wilson stepped forward, unable to contain himself. You helped erase our identity, our technology, our very nature. We helped save your species, Elder Nim corrected. The Void Hunters had already destroyed 3 human worlds. Your ancestors' technology, advanced as it was, could only fight them to a standstill. The quarantine was meant to hide you, to give humanity time to develop naturally without drawing their attention again. And now? Maya asked, her voice carrying across the chamber. The beacon's data shows they're waking up. The void between galaxies is stirring. What's your plan now, Elder? Before the ancient being could respond, new alarms blared throughout the chamber. The central holographic display shifted, showing multiple spatial anomalies appearing at the edge of hegemony space. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. The tactical officer's voice echoed through the chamber. Energy signatures match nothing in our database. Ambassador Lee stood slowly, his eyes fixed on the display. Nothing in your database, perhaps, but we've seen them before, haven't we, Elder Nim? In the memories the beacon showed us, the chamber erupted in panic. Species that had been arguing moments before huddled together, ancient rivalries forgotten in the face of a greater threat. High Counselor Vex struggled to maintain order as reports of more spatial anomalies flooded in. Maya turned to James. The beacon's technical data, already transmitted to Earth, he confirmed. Our scientists are studying it now, but it'll take time to understand, let alone implement. Time we may not have, Lieutenant Zhang noted grimly. High Counselor Vex finally restored enough order to be heard. The Council must vote. The quarantine. The quarantine is irrelevant now. Elder Nim interrupted. The choice is simple. We stand together, or we die alone. Humanity's technology, combined with 3 centuries of hegemony advancements, the ancient being's cybernetic eyes swept the chamber. It might give us a fighting chance. Maya stepped forward, her voice clear and determined. The beacon showed us more than just the Void Hunters. It showed us why the founders really feared humanity's potential, not because we were violent, but because we never stopped fighting, never accepted defeat, even against impossible odds. The chamber had grown quiet, hundreds of alien species watching as the human commander continued. We didn't just fight the Void Hunters to a stalemate. We found weaknesses in beings that had destroyed entire galaxies. We developed weapons that could hurt them, strategies that could confuse them. And now, with your help, we can do more than just fight them to a draw. Ambassador Lee nodded slowly. The quarantine ends today. Not because we demand it, but because we all need each other to survive what's coming. The real question is, will the Council acknowledge its mistakes and move forward, or will pride doom us all? The chamber erupted in debate once more, but this time it was different. The anger had given way to something else. Fear, yes, but also determination. The truth was out, and with it, the realization that the galaxy's greatest threat and its best hope for survival were one and the same: humanity unleashed. The ancient station's control room hummed with activity as human and alien scientists worked side by side, racing against time. Dr. James Wilson stood at the central console, his tired eyes scanning streams of data as they decoded more of humanity's forgotten legacy. Another weapons cache, located in the Carina sector, he announced, marking the coordinates on the galactic map. Red dots now littered the display, each representing a hidden repository of human technology that had slumbered for centuries. Maya studied the map from her position near the tactical display. The Founders didn't just hide our history, they scattered our strength across the galaxy. Every cache we find reveals more about who we used to be. Lieutenant Zheng's voice carried from his station, and who we need to become again, quickly. Long-range sensors are tracking more quantum disturbances. The Void Hunters are definitely moving. A crystalline chime announced the arrival of their hegemony liaison, Commander Trix. The alien's faceted surface reflected the station's blue light as they approached. Your ancestors were thorough in their preparations. Each cache seems to contain not just weapons, but entire defensive systems. The question is, can your people remaster these technologies in time? Maya's response was interrupted by a sudden alert from James's console. Commander, I found something different. This isn't just another weapons cache. It's some kind of training facility, and it's still active. The holographic display shifted, showing a massive installation hidden within an asteroid field. Ancient defense systems still patrolled its perimeter, following protocols laid down centuries ago. The beacon's data mentions this place, James continued, excitement clear in his voice. It's called the Forge. It's where humanity developed our most advanced technologies, including ways to enhance our own capabilities. Enhancement. Commander Trix's surface rippled with concern. You mean biological modifications? That's forbidden under hegemony law. Your laws don't apply anymore. Maya cut in. Not with what's coming. The Void Hunters aren't just powerful. They're evolved to consume life itself. We need every advantage we can get. The station's lights flickered as another quantum tremor passed through the sector. They were becoming more frequent now, as if the fabric of space itself was reacting to the approaching threat. The Forge facility is showing signs of activation, James reported. It's as if it's been waiting for us all this time, running quiet until human biosignatures returned. Lieutenant Zheng looked up from his tactical display. Multiple hegemony vessels approaching. They're not answering hails. Conservative elements in the Council, Commander Trix explained, their crystalline form dimming slightly. Not everyone supports cooperation with humans, even now. Maya's jaw tightened. We don't have time for this. James, can you access the Forge's systems remotely? Partially. But Commander, these enhancement protocols, they're not just physical upgrades. They're meant to unlock something that's already inside us, something the Founders buried along with our history. The tactical display lit up with new warnings as the hegemony vessels moved into attack positions, but Maya's attention was fixed on the Forge's schematics, understanding dawning in her eyes. They didn't just hide our technology, she breathed. They hid our potential. The Void Hunters didn't fear our weapons. They feared what we could become. Commander, John reported urgently, the hegemony ships are charging weapons. Maya straightened. Decision made. James, transmit everything we have about the Forge to Earth. Kai, Plot a course into that asteroid field. Commander Trix, you might want to contact your superiors. The time for half measures is over. The ancient station shuddered as the first hegemony shots struck its shields. But Maya's eyes were fixed on the forge facility ahead, its ancient systems awakening after centuries of sleep. Our ancestors faced the Void Hunters with technology alone and fought them to a standstill, she said quietly. Imagine what we can do when we reclaim everything they tried to make us forget. The Prometheus's engines fired up, its advanced systems interfacing with the ancient facility's defenses. As they accelerated toward humanity's forgotten legacy, Maya couldn't help but wonder. Were they about to reclaim their salvation, or were they about to discover why some powers were meant to stay buried? Behind them, the quantum tremors grew stronger, like distant thunder heralding a storm. The Void Hunters were coming, and humanity's time of hiding was over. The only question was, would they remember who they truly were in time to face what was coming? The forge's ancient halls pulsed with energy as centuries-old systems surged back to life. Maya stood in the central chamber, surrounded by spinning holographic displays, showing both the approaching hegemony ships and the much darker threat lurking at the galaxy's edge. Enhancement protocols are ready, James announced, his voice tight with anticipation. But Maya, these changes, they're permanent. Once we start this process, there's no going back. We passed the point of no return the moment we found that beacon, Maya replied, stepping onto the activation platform. Above her, ancient machinery hummed to life, recognizing her human DNA. How long until the Void Hunters reach populated space? Lieutenant Zhang checked his readings. At current speed, less than 6 hours. The hegemony fleet will reach us in 20 minutes. Commander Trix's crystalline form shifted anxiously. The council is deadlocked. Conservative factions are demanding we destroy this facility, while others, the alien hesitated. Others believe we should trust humanity one more time. Maya closed her eyes as the enhancement field surrounded her. We never needed anyone's permission to save ourselves, Commander. We just needed to remember who we are. The chamber filled with light as the ancient protocols activated. Maya felt it first as a warmth in her mind, then as a fire in her blood. Buried neural pathways awakened, dormant genes activated, and 3 centuries of artificial limitations began to burn away. Multiple quantum ruptures. Zhang's warning cut through Maya's transformation. They're coming through early. The tactical display exploded with new contacts as vast shapes emerged from fold space. The Void Hunters had arrived, living ships of impossible size, their surfaces rippling with organic technology that defied physics itself. Enhancement process at 70%, James reported, his own transformation already underway at a secondary station. But Maya, I'm detecting something else in these protocols. It's not just physical enhancement. It's like they're waking up something that was always there, something the founders couldn't completely bury. Maya felt it too. Beyond the physical changes, beyond the neural enhancements, something else was stirring. A power that humanity had forgotten, a potential that had been locked away for their own protection. The facility shook as the first hegemony ships opened fire, while behind them, the Void Hunters began their approach. They were caught between 2 forces, each believing they knew what was best for humanity's future. Enhancement complete, James announced. Neural networks online. Quantum consciousness integration successful. Maya opened her eyes, and for the first time in centuries, a human saw reality as their ancestors had, not just the physical universe, but the quantum layers beneath, the very fabric of space-time itself. Now I understand, she breathed. The Void Hunters didn't fear our weapons. They feared this, our ability to see beyond, to reach into the quantum fabric of reality itself. The facility's ancient defenses activated, responding to her enhanced consciousness. But Maya could sense it wasn't enough. The Void Hunters were too powerful, too numerous. Commander Trix, she called out, her voice carrying new harmonics that made the crystalline alien vibrate in response. Tell your ships to pull back. What's about to happen? They'll want to be clear of it. What are you planning? The alien asked, but Maya could see they already knew. We're going to remind everyone why the Void Hunters wanted us forgotten, she replied, reaching out with her newly awakened senses. Around her, James, Zhang, and the other humans who had undergone the enhancement felt it too. A connection not just to each other, but to the quantum field itself. The Void Hunters struck first, their organic weapons tearing holes in reality. But for the first time in centuries, humanity could strike back on their own terms. Maya reached into the quantum fabric of space, her consciousness enhanced and united with her crew. Together, they did what their ancestors had done. They rewrote the local laws of physics itself. Space twisted. Reality shuddered. The Void Hunters' weapons found their attacks reflected back at them, their organic technology disrupted by changes to the fundamental forces they relied upon. My God, Commander Trix whispered, watching as human consciousness reshaped the battlefield itself. This is why they feared you. Not your weapons, not your technology, but this. We were never meant to be contained, Maya replied, her voice echoing with power as she coordinated the quantum defense. We were meant to evolve, to grow, to reach beyond what seems possible. That's what the Void Hunters truly feared, not what we were, but what we would become. The battle raged across multiple dimensions, humanity's awakened power clashing with the Void Hunters' ancient might. But this time, humanity wasn't fighting alone. As the quantum storm expanded, hegemony ships joined the defense, their own technology amplified by humanity's manipulation of fundamental forces. And in that moment, as human and alien fought side by side against the darkness between galaxies, the future changed. Not through strength of arms or advanced technology, but through the one force the founders couldn't completely suppress: humanity's endless drive to push beyond their limits, to face the impossible, and to rewrite the rules of reality itself. The quarantine was broken, not just physically, but fundamentally. Humanity had remembered who they were, had reclaimed their place among the stars. And the galaxy would never be the same.